Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about what is the most effective way to say no to unrealistic deadlines or unnecessary calls or meetings. I think most of you have faced these similar kind of situations where you get some requirements and you are told to deliver them, let's say, within the next 10 days or 15 days. And as soon as you receive the requirement, you know that this particular requirement is going to take more than 15 days. It may take 20 days. It may take 25 days. But how you can say no? Because if you will say no, you will sound as rude, impolite. Like, I think that is the fear which most of us face many a times. And similar thing happens for the calls or meetings where we do not want to go, or should I say, where we are not supposed to go, where we are not required in those calls or meetings. You must have you must have experienced that many calls or meetings are scheduled and lot of invitees are there in that meeting, and you sometimes you do not know what exactly is the agenda. Sometimes you do not know if the agenda is something where you are not related, even then you are invited. So there are many unwanted calls or meetings where it just does not make sense for you to attend those. But again, how you can say no because you will sound rude or impolite, right? That is the fear. So today we are going to talk about a very simple structure or a simple framework through which you can say no, and the person listening to your no, maybe your technical manager or maybe your project manager or maybe your stakeholder, will not feel offended because no, when you say no, it's the impoliteness or the rudeness lies in your tone. It does not lie in the answer, right? So we are going to talk about it in a sec. So moving ahead, sorry, first quick intro. My name is Gaurav Sharma and I have got around 20 years of IT experience related to software development, architecturing the solutions, stakeholder management, leading teams, leading technical projects, technical roadmaps, being a bridge between technological team as well as business team, and driving end-to-end delivery of, of the solutions and all that. And today I'm here to share with you guys my practical insights and practical lessons which have actually shaped my journey. And this discussion is not going to be in some kind of educational tone. I am going to talk about it just in a conversational tone. So please pardon me if you hear any incorrect words or misspelled words. Sorry for that in advance. Quickly moving on to our agenda. What is the most effective way? How can we say no when we want to say no to these unrealistic deadlines? We are going to use a very simple framework or structure to tackle it. And the framework is no because. It is very simple yet very powerful. There are two things you have to take care of here. First is whenever you say, whenever you want to say no, or whenever you want to decline any request related to urgent meetings or urgent work, you have to first think in your mind whether when I am saying when I do not want to or when these requirements cannot be met within the said timelines, is there any logical reasoning behind it? Or it's just my mood is driving it? Sometimes what happens that your mood, you are feeling irritated. It may be because of your personal reasons or it may be because of any other reasons, interpersonal relationships. There can be many reasons except professional. But sometimes we are not able to identify it. We only focus on no. Let's say a set of requirements come and you are given 10 days to complete it, and you feel offended. Maybe, what man, I have to do this now also within this strict timelines. And you just say, no, 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 I cannot do this. I'm already loaded. It is sometimes a very natural reaction. So first, honestly, you have to identify whether this no reaction or no response is driven by my mood, or is there any valid logical reasoning behind it, and how you can identify it. Try filling this whole sentence. Try putting the valid reasoning after because in your mind first, right? So, for example, you get a set of requirements, you have to do it in 10 days. You know that you cannot do this in 10 days. Play it in your mind. I cannot do this in 10 days because. Now, because when you think about it, automatically the reasons should start coming up in your mind. For example, one reason could be because we do not have the required resource bandwidth. There could be other reason also, because the sprint is going to end in the next 2 days. And when the next sprint starts, it's of 15 days. So we cannot do it in 10 days, right? Or it could be any other reasons. But if you are not able to fill it with a proper valid reasoning, then understand that this is your mood actually driving this no reaction of yours, and you have to stop it, because your personal feelings cannot come in your professional settings. Every professional in your company expects a logical response, right? So if you yourself are not able to fill it with a logical response, then you will not be able to convince any other person about it. Okay, first thing. Now, second thing, first thing, you play in your mind, you have filled the sentence with valid reasoning. Very good. Now move on to the next step. Now you have to actually execute it. Now, what happens that when we give this response of no, or when we decline through email or verbally, we usually ramble, and the response we give is not very structured. So for example, we may say that we cannot complete this requirement, we cannot complete this requirement, we do not and we do not have the resource bandwidth, and sprint is also going to end in the next 2 days. How can we do this? Please understand, it's not reasonable, blah blah blah. Now what happens when you give these type of responses? The person listening to it or reading it will not be able to focus on your reasoning properly. Automatically, unconsciously, his mind will focus only on no, because the rest of the part is not well structured. So his focus will be less on the reasoning, because his mind will need to work a bit more to make a meaning out of it, because you have, all the reasons are scattered everywhere. So that is why he is his mind will more attentively go to no rather than on the reasoning. Now this principle enforces his mind to focus on the reasoning. How? When you put your response like this: we cannot complete this requirement within 10 days because we do not have the available resource bandwidth, or because the sprint is going to end in the 2 days and the next sprint is going to take 15 days to complete. Now, what happens psychologically? As soon as his mind sees the logical reasoning just after no, right? So he will start understanding the reasoning very quickly because your response is well structured now. It is not rambling. You are not rambling, right? So he sees no, and immediately he sees the reasoning. So our mind works in this way that as soon as it hears, it's a natural, human behavior. So whenever any human hears no, he tends to feel offended. But as soon as he hears the reasoning, this feeling offended goes away almost immediately. So the time between this response of no and the logical reasoning should be very less. And that is why giving the response in a structured way minimizes that amount of time of reaching that reasoning to his mind. And this is what this structure does. This is structure of no because. So write your response or give your response like this, and immediately the person will understand your reasoning. He may counter argue with his own reasoning, but that's a different thing altogether. You would have already initiated a no response with a strong structure, and you would have already win half the battle because you would have already put a boundary that no, we will not be able to do this because of this XYZ reason. And the same goes for going in unwanted calls or meetings. The same principle you can apply there also. If there is any unwanted meeting or unwanted call, you can simply say, no, I cannot join that meeting because I already have a separate meeting. Or I won't be able to join this meeting because I am not the right person for that meeting. Or I cannot join that meeting because I need some time to pre read first on that topic. Can we reschedule it? So structure your responses after no in this way so that immediately the person receives a valid reasoning behind it. But remember, the first step is first you have to play it in your mind to identify whether you yourself are able to put a proper reasoning in the because clause or not. If not, then you can't say no because it's your mood driving this no response, not a valid reasoning. But if you are able to fill it, go ahead and say no with courage. Okay, that was all. And if you want some more insights on leadership, growth, tech, productivity, and all those stuff, you can visit my blog, thetruecode.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I have put all these details in the video description as well. And please let me know in the comments if you liked this video or if it helped you or if there is any